Hi, I'm Raquel. Welcome back to Recovery to Wellness, where survivors radiate badassery. It is currently March 20th, 2024. Yep, March 20th. I'm at the library, but we're inside my car. So we're not inside the library, but we're in the car. And I just filmed like a kind of rambly, like kind of disjointed life update video. And I'm hoping to film now a recovery check-in video because I haven't talked about my recovery in a long time and I feel like it's overdue, and just kind of letting you guys into kind of seeing kind of how I'm doing and stuff. So I would say I wanted to film a recovery check-in video probably back in, like, I honestly thought about doing one specific video back in December last year because I finally felt ready to kind of talk about what happened, which led me to get hospitalized again after almost 5 years hospital free as a psych patient. And I finally felt ready to talk about it like a year later. And I just never really got around to doing it. And for now, that video idea is kind of shelved off. I'll probably do it at some point. I just don't know when exactly. And then probably in January, well, once I got COVID and then probably like January to February, I was kind of like, I should really film like a recovery like update video because I'm doing really well, everything's really great and everything's awesome. But then I started really kind of thinking about it too, and then I was like, I'm actually really anxious a lot of the time, so maybe I'm not doing as well as I think I am. And that's been kind of the thing. And then something happened in the last week where I went into dark mode, and that was really hard. So I kind of want to just talk all about it, and I don't think there's going to be a perfect time to film a recovery life update video or recovery check-in video kind of thing. I don't think there's going to be a perfect time for it. I don't think it's ever going to be like, okay, now I can finally settle in and like talk about it versus like, like being caught up in everything going wrong or caught up in everything going right, or I think it's maybe that middle ground, like there's like both can be true, both opposing forces can be true at the same time kind of thing. Like I could be doing pretty well, other days, other times kind of struggling a little more, and that kind of just being the process really, because I don't think recovery, as we always say, is a process, or recovery is a journey, not a destination. And I don't think it's going to be a hit recovered and then never have a bad day again kind of thing. It's not quite like that. It's more, there are ups and downs, and kind of how we handle it and how we cope through it is very important. So I do want to just state first off that, sorry, my ear's itchy, am in recovery, but not because I don't have lived experience. I've talked about this before in like other like videos I've never edited and uploaded, but I don't have lived experience with eating disorders or lived experience with substance use disorders. My recovery journey is from mental health conditions, because recovery as a definition is the state of the process or something of returning to a normal state of mind, body, and strength, or something to that effect. Loosely defined, by the way. But essentially it's that kind of thing. So recovery for me is, for my story and what I talk about on my life, on my channel and on my other socials and such, recovery to me is from borderline personality disorder, depression, obsessive compulsive disorder, or OCD, and hair pulling and skin picking, which is trichotillomania and dermatillomania. So those are the 5, I believe, conditions that I live with and that I struggle with the most. Something that I was recently thinking about was how, like this last week or so, is like how I really wish I could just be sad. Like, I wish that I could be someone to, like, have sadness and just be sad and have it not escalate into something else. But unfortunately, with the borderline, I feel my emotions really intensely. That's why when I feel good, I feel really good. And when I feel bad, I feel really bad. Like, it's really intense kind of thing. Also, I feel like it's important to mention that I think I've blamed OCD a lot for a lot of my problems and such, but then when I've gone to like support groups or I hear other people talking about OCD, that's not what I experience. And I'm like, is it? But then I found in the past few years, it's like, if I try to figure out, is this OCD or is this not OCD, and trying to find a label for it tends to be OCD in general. So I'm like, I kind of damned if I do, damned if I don't. But I always just blame it on OCD, but I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know. But it's probably just that comorbidity stuff. Actually, this year, fall this year, because it's 2024, fall in September or so of this year, it'll be 10 years since I've been diagnosed, which is interesting. And, you know, originally I was diagnosed with OCD, and then I wound up developing depression, which also really became, like, borderline. It's very strange, though, too, because, unfortunately for me, I call it living with a shit stick in life, in a sense, because when life gives you a shit stick, there you go. Because I didn't have trauma in my childhood. I didn't have like horrible abuse or anything. I don't have any, there's no genetic component to anything. So I don't know. I'm just crooked, have a fucked up back, and I have fucked up mental health pretty much. So I don't know. It's weird. But I was also, because I went to a massage today, and I was thinking about kind of like physical health stuff. Honestly, I think if I didn't go through physical health stuff when I was a teenager and stuff, I don't know how I would have handled my mental health. Because I think it was like, you know, because it was only when I was in college and university did I actually start going to therapy and stuff, and like kind of talk, because I dealt a lot with procrastination problems and stuff like that, and like, you know, it was like the first time I really talked about it. And it was also when I started having symptoms of OCD when I was 19, going into college, but I wasn't diagnosed until I was 21. And once I was diagnosed, that was like a huge thing, because then I was like, who the fuck am I? I'm like, if I'm not who kind of what Andrew Solomon says in his really popular TED Talk, The Depression is the Secret We Share. He talks about if he's not the Holocaust the person who he thought would survive a Holocaust, and he actually has like depression and stuff, then who is he? And I feel like that was really my moment of like, if I'm not, like, because I didn't know I had a mental health condition, and, you know, that was kind of a, you know, process in a sense. I had a lot of self-stigma and also when I have looked back on and I haven't looked back on old stuff that I wrote back in 2014 or anything, but lately at least. But when I have looked back, I'm like, dude, you needed to be medicated. I'm like, you really needed it. But, you know, I have been hospitalized psychiatrically as a patient, 13 times by now. I've been a year out of the hospital now, hospital free for a year. And I just like, I don't know. And, you know, I guess we're talking, I don't know, we're really diving into all recovery stuff, but, I mean, I was hospitalized 3 times in 2015, twice in 2016, 5 times in 2017. It was a bad year. And then twice in 2018, and then once in 2023. And I think it is very, I mean, it's complicated, right? Like, a psychiatric hospitalization is complicated. Like, I don't know, like, it's hard, like, I find when I've been hospitalized, at least, like, it's hard for me to, like, because it is traumatic, but not, like, nothing horrible's ever happened to me, but, like, I don't know, it is kind of a type of trauma, in a sense, and I think it's valid to say that, and it's valid to say, you know, kind of, even seeking help and such can be really intense and just really emotionally charged. And so I find when I get hospitalized, it's like thereafter it's so much easier to have to get hospitalized again, kind of thing, like, because I'm just so vulnerable, so intense. I mean, I filmed a video back, I think it was like, it was 2024, right? Last year I filmed that video where I was crying in the library, kind of thing, you know, and because I felt so shit, like, I didn't feel like that when I was in the psych hospital as a patient, but I felt that way after I got out, and then it was like, it really kind of hit me, and then it was really shit. So I don't know, there is something about that. There is something about kind of that in and out of the psych hospital kind of thing. And I see it at work too. Like I work at a psych hospital. So I see it too. Like we get like the same, you know, we get some, you know, this patient we had a month ago maybe comes back in kind of thing because other things happen. And it's a process, unfortunately. It's just a up and down kind of process. And, you know, there are some hospitals that are really good and there's some hospitals that are really shit. And like, you really don't know what you're gonna get. And it's a complicated system, even in Massachusetts, let alone in other parts of the nation or the world, really. So I don't know, I just told you a whole story about everything that's happened, I guess. I guess so what's relevant is like, I've also like, in my history, I've also like engaged in like self-harm, like scratching primarily, and then like some of the hair pulling, skin picking stuff, and then like chronic suicidality as well. And like the other day, so it was last week or so, you know, again, I was thinking, you know, January, February, I was like, yeah, I'm doing really well in recovery, everything's great, everything's awesome, woo, happiness. And that was true, but I was also, you know, misleading myself with not realizing, actually, I am a lot more anxious lately. I am a lot more, you know, hair pulling, or I go a while without it, but then I come back to it, and, you know, that kind of thing. Or I'm really avoiding a lot of things. I'm avoiding, you know, finishing reading a book. I'm avoiding Marvel movies. I'm avoiding all these other things, which avoidance doesn't help because the original problem is still there. And if not still there, the same size, it's even larger in a sense. So, but then I hadn't been depressed in a while, and then last week happened. But it started off because sometimes I fall down like rabbit holes on the internet of like other people's rabbit holes, and what happened was like Friday, Saturday, I went into a rabbit hole of my own, from my own like old stuff, like really old stuff. I like went back and read a couple of things that are on my blog and stuff. And it didn't fuck me up at the moment, but I was kind of like, damn, that was really shitty. And then it was like, you know, Sunday I went to work, Monday I went to work. I wound up writing like 7 pages of fanfiction, house fanfiction on Sunday, which was great. Like, that was a good time. And then on Monday I went to work, to the library, and then I finished my fanfic chapter because I was handwriting it. And then this thing happened. And also, right around that time, I started my period. And then I got, you know, from how that day was going, I got out of work. I just was at a psych hospital, like working at a psych hospital kind of thing, dealing with people, you know, dealing with a lot of patients and such, and socializing, a lot of stuff like that. And then I was writing my fanfic, which was also kind of on the subject matter of suicidality. And then I was leaving the library and I overheard somebody laughing and joking very, I guess darkly, I would say, or so. Just very, very, I think, inappropriate person in place. And like, they said something like, I know exactly what they said actually, but it was making light of like, oh, I guess I'll, you know, so what they said, I'll put a trigger warning on this video and stuff, but they said, happy, I'm going to contemplate suicide tonight. And I was just like, really? Like, come on. Like, I don't know. It really fucked me up. It really triggered me, like, really bad. And I was like, shit. And I haven't been triggered by something somebody said in years. And it was just super like, this is, like, do you need me to call someone? Like, I'm a mandated reporter. Like, I mean, you know, and I didn't say anything. And that's, like, the worst part, is that I didn't say anything. Like, they like, hey, like, are you good? Like, you know, you really do you need to go somewhere? You know, whatever kind of thing. And I didn't say anything. And I just went to my car, and I sat in my car, and I'm like, fuck, now I'm triggered. Like, because it felt like there was no escaping it, in a sense. Like, I was, either I'm having it at work, I have it myself, I have it myself, I have it at work, I have it in my fanfic, I have it everywhere it's at, and it's just so like, no. But, so that made me really, triggered, and really, like, I went into, like, depressive mode, and then, something that I do want to, the reason I bring that all up and everything too, I guess it makes sense with the context of my life and my story, but I don't know what it is. I don't exactly know why or what changed, but I feel nowadays like I have to be the strong one. I have to be the one all put together, and I have to be the one who's like, you know, there no matter what, in a sense. And I just feel like I have to handle it myself, and that I can't ask for help. Because for me, I think when I, again, like with the borderline, when I feel sad, I feel like despair. Like, it's not even sad. Like, it starts off sad and then it goes into despair. Really, it goes into despair like that. And it's like, I was like, it's weird because I went into like, so I worked it into my fanfic. I actually I created a new scene and put it into my fanfic and processed it that way a little bit. I cried a little bit. I did that. I went to work the next day. It was a tough day at work, but I got through it. You know, I worked on some stuff. I talked to some, you know, some of my coworkers. I did some painting and stuff later. I did like things like that. You know, it took a few days. It took time. Time is the big thing. It always takes time. But I can't shake the feeling that it definitely felt like I need to pack my bags and go back to the hospital as a patient kind of thing. Like, it was pretty bad. And I think part of it too is like, I'm so, like, my forgetfulness is really, intense. Like, unless I have cues, I don't really remember things, in a sense. Like, it's weird, like, because, I mean, partially I can remember, like, people's names and stuff, like, when it comes to, like, patients at work and things like that, and I can remember, if I can see the name, like, written, and then, like, also, like, their face and stuff, then I can remember that pretty well. But overall, like, if I met somebody, like, if somebody was, like, following me, like, in, like, a store, I probably wouldn't notice, although now I probably would be a little bit more, because I kind of, like, make sure I'm more aware of my surroundings. But, like, I feel like, when I'm really sad or like really like depressed, like I'm in a depressive episode, I cannot comprehend, like, I know that I need time for it to like dissipate, but I don't know, like, I don't have, it's like I don't have memory of it not feeling like that. And I don't know, like, I can't even access memory to be like, oh, I've been through this before, I'm gonna get through it again kind of thing. It's more like, this is really shit, and I really don't want to feel it, and, like, I don't know what to do with it, because I think, too, when I was talking to myself about this situation and stuff, I was thinking about how, I think, when I'm like that, I feel like I almost need someone to tell me, like, do you need to go to the hospital? Because it's like, I only feel seen if I'm told that, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to go back to the hospital. And it's like, but like, so it's almost like I'm afraid of, like, if I tell someone how I'm actually feeling, they'll be like, you need to go to the hospital. And then I'll be like, I don't want to go to the hospital. But then if they tell me that if they're like, hey, I see you, but yeah, I think you can not go to the hospital, then it's almost like I feel worse about it. Like, then it's almost like I have to, like, instigate it further. Like, I have to up the ante kind of thing. So I don't know. It's like pretty much damned if I do, damned if I don't. So then I just opt into, like, not telling anybody. So, and then I just keep it to myself. And then, but it's hard because, like, I feel like I have to do this myself. I have to do it alone, and I have to, like, not, like, worry other people, or like really let people know, like, let people in to know that I'm really not okay. And I can't talk to the internet about it because that's an inappropriate person and place. And a lot of this stuff I think I would ever only tell you guys later about it. Like, it wouldn't come out in the moment. So then what I do is I isolate a lot. I have a couple new friendships right now, but I don't think we're anywhere near the point where I can, like, you know, let someone in that way. You know, my mom is really good about stuff. Like, she you know, she can tell pretty easily, like, when I'm not okay and stuff, but you know, I don't know, I keep her out of it and stuff too, so it's complicated. I mean, I did tell her about it eventually, and it was fine. I told a couple of my coworkers about it too, and it was helpful. But ultimately, yeah, I just needed time for it to go by. And then once it did go by, then, you know, I told my mom about it on Saturday, and then I kind of like, you know, it was kind of hard too, I think, because the library is like my safe space. And like hearing that just from someone I don't even know was really upsetting. And like it was actually kind of hard to go back to the library a couple times. Like I still did it anyway, because I'm like, I refuse to like have my space taken over by something somebody said, in a sense. But it was hard, and you know, it was tough and stuff. And eventually I actually wound up finishing reading the Look Out for the Little Guy, the Ant-Man book, and that helped actually a lot too, because it also talked about like, you know, if you're struggling and stuff, like don't struggle alone, and like all that stuff, which is super helpful, and like something I really needed to hear. But I don't really, so I guess like recovery check-in, like, you know, it's usually, I think, when there's a lot of vulnerabilities and a lot of stressors happening at the same time, it makes sense for anybody to be struggling, in a sense. And maybe like, I don't know, I have to work on letting people in a little bit. Probably not when I'm in, maybe not when I'm in like full-on crisis, but like before that, like when it starts to kind of eat up and stuff, and like starts to kind of get, you know, I'm starting to feel just sad, and you know, and it's not, you know, anything worse than that. But I don't really have the answers, in a sense, and I wouldn't be able to reach out about it online when I'm going through it, and it would only be after the fact, after some time has passed. And I guess the big thing too is like, I am safe, like physically in reality I am safe. It just doesn't feel emotionally like I'm safe, or it doesn't feel like thought-wise like I'm safe. But in reality I actually am. So it's just that dichotomy is so stark and intense. And again, like when I'm sad, I don't remember, like, it's not even a thought process. I'm not even like, oh, this is sadness, and this is what I can do about it. This is what I can, you know, work on or whatever, and this is how I'm gonna get through it. And like, I've been through this before, I can get through this again. It's not even like that at all. It's more like, I am just so sad, and it feels so overwhelming and so all-encompassing that I will never feel anything else. And it's really, really, really hard. But some music that helped me, Quiet by Milk helped a lot. I actually listened to that song before one time when I was in crisis, and my Alexa was playing and stuff, and that was a song that I heard, and it was really, really helpful. Like, one of the lyrics is like, I can't keep quiet, not anyone or not anymore, and then, the ending part of it is like, let it out now, let it out now. I can't keep quiet. If I don't say something, no one will know, or something to that effect. I don't know. It's a good song, but it is about like kind of like recovery from sexual assault, and recovery from trauma and stuff. But it's a very good song. I really like it, because it's like talking about how she's not going to keep quiet. She's going to talk about it and address it and such. And other songs that helped, eventually Better Days by Dermot Kennedy. It was helpful. And Leave a Light On by Tom Walker. So that was my recovery check-in update. Overall, I guess moral of the story, life can be a bitch, and life can be horrible, and life can be beautiful. Life is love, and life is despair, and regardless of whichever one it is at the moment, if I'm on this darkness hill, I can still get to the hill of light and peace and hope and beauty, and more even likely is to come into the valley in between the two, and recognize that you can't have one without the other. It is both. So like for like emotions, right? I can't only feel happiness unless I know what pain is. And oh, my battery is dying. Yep. So last couple thoughts I'll say is that I can't appreciate knowing beauty and love and enjoyment without also experiencing and knowing pain and loss and grief. And so it is a process. And even though, I mean, the nice thing for me, at least with when it does come to my memory issues, is like after like 20 minutes or so, I can kind of forget about it. And then once I get distracted by something else, I'll forget about it. And then it's not as bad. But yeah. So I'm gonna go because my battery is dying on my camera, and I'm already gonna be hitting like 30 minutes on this video anyway. So I don't know why we went into a whole story about all of my recovery stuff, but we did. So thank you for watching, and if you liked this video, I guess if you liked me talking, feel free to like it and consider subscribing, because I would like to grow the channel more. And I will have more content for you guys soon. Tons of things in store, and like things you didn't know about me, the Ant-Man review, the book review at least, some shopping stuff, some other things like that. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching. As always, stay safe. Much love and light to you. And eventually I'll figure out, like, I'll probably start having conversations with different friends of like, hey, when I'm feeling this way, like, you know, what could you offer me, in a sense, right? Because it's important to make sure we're asking the right people for the support that they're able to give. Not allowed to give, but if I was struggling with emotions and I needed validation, you know, going to a friend that's more tangible, more concrete, might not be the most helpful thing. I should also really try to have more friends too, because I don't have that many, but I gotta work on that. And I will see you in another video upload, and that's it. Thank you so much. Bye. And if you're struggling out there, just remember that you're not alone, and have those conversations of like, hey, you know, when people ask you what you need, try to think about like what could help, kind of thing. I found painting with one of my someone like on FaceTime was helpful. Doing something like enjoyable activities was helpful. That kind of helps get me out of the funk. So yeah, thank you. Bye.
Guiding like a lighthouse to I will leave the light on.